Well, welcome everybody. Thank you for coming. My name is Linwood Fields and I am head of film at the Audience Awards, and I am super excited about today's ProConvo. I've been looking forward to it. I have many questions and I'm in just a second to introduce our two panelists who are I'm so glad you guys could join us. Megan and Dan, welcome.
Yay.
Hello.
Hi, everybody.
Happy Tuesday.
Yeah.
And a Tuesday afternoon. So just for our attendees who are popping up here, we really encourage you to actively engage with Megan and Dan and really ask some questions. That's what this is all about. I could ask questions, but you have this opportunity now for the next 45 minutes. So if you have any questions, you can either type them to me and I will ask them on your behalf, or there is an element where you can raise your hand. It's, I believe, at the bottom right, or I'm not sure where everyone it is on their screen, but feel free to raise your hand and I will push you to panelists and you can ask them the question on video so they can actually see your face, which is always nice to see real people out there.
Do that.
Yeah, definitely. So we don't feel alone.
Yes. We had one ProConvo where she wouldn't answer a question unless you were on video. She was like, nope, if I'm on video.
Really?
Yeah.
It's extreme. We'll ease into it, but yes, please join us on video if you can.
So this goes really fast, so we're going to jump in right now because every time I'm like, oh, one more question, and we feel like it went too quickly. So
Totally.
First thing I would love to ask is if you could both introduce yourself and how you got into kind of doing the work you're doing right now. So, and I'll go ahead and start with Megan, and then Dan, I would love to hear from you. So.
Okay.
Sounds good. Well, I'm Megan Toenyes, like she said. I began working for YouTube in December of 2014 because I was an animator and motion graphics artist for Hank Green's science channel called SciShow. So I got my start with that and went to VidCon. We, like a lot of the team, would work it. So I was like immersed into this online video culture, and I got really, really inspired to do that kind of work on my own because I saw all these people that, you know, made their some sort of unique mark. There's so many niche audiences on YouTube. So I was like, I don't know, I'm going to start making my own stuff. And just kind of continued exploring different medias of art. And I've since transitioned from SciShow to being my own independent creator. But I do videos for the collective Snarled. So I make a show for Snarled and a show for HissyFit. The show on HissyFit is a satire makeup vlog sort of thing, and I do different moods in face paint and makeup. And then my show on Snarled is kind of an educational dark humor sort of show sorry, stutter. That was good. I also am an editor, so I edit all that out. But the one on Snarled is about death. So it's kind of like weird ways to die and just like a PSA announcement and anxiety inducing.
Thanks, Megan. Dan?
Yeah.
So back in the day, let's go back to 2007. I posted a video response to Michael Buckley back when video responses existed. And it was just like a community building video response, and he wanted people to send him videos getting to know everybody else. So I did that. And I kind of like enjoyed the whole recording video type thing. And throughout college, I explored different editing styles, and I kind of taught myself how to edit videos, and I would just post random vlogs. I did more scripted things back then, like top 10 lists. But over the years, it developed into something more serious. And I started making more film type videos. And more recently, I brought my boyfriend into the mix. And so the channel right now is basically vlogs surrounding our life as a same-sex couple, and bringing awareness to issues like that. And yeah, that covers it in a nutshell, I guess.
Yeah, it's hard to it's hard to wrap it all up into one tiny little package.
Yeah.
We'll unwrap it and go into more detail.
Yeah.
Well, I have more questions, but we already have a panelist who would like to, or attendee who would like to ask you guys a question. So then I will promote them and then I'll keep going. So hold on for just a sec.
Cool.
All right, go ahead.
Hey guys, so my question is for both of you. I'm curious as to how you guys balance your privacy in your lives with having to open up your world to your viewers so regularly with having a YouTube channel and having that be kind of your thing.
Thanks for the question.
That's a good question. I guess I'll start. I don't know. There is a fine balance because I definitely try. I'm inspired by people that kind of reveal their vulnerability a little bit. Just because it is a struggle to try and make a living as an artist, and so I try to be vulnerable about when I'm struggling with my work. But there are definitely there's a lot of stuff that I don't necessarily reveal. So I think it's just having a gauge on especially other people in my life's privacy. Like my boyfriend's not big on social media, doesn't necessarily envelop that part, but he helps me shoot all my videos, and my stuff's mostly like scripted, so I'm not as much of like the vlogger and share my everyday stuff, but I do on like Instagram. But I just use discretion when I can. I don't know if that answered it very well. I bet Dan has more to say on this because yours is more about your
I'll
life.
take over. Yeah. Hey, Kristen. So, yeah, pretty much all my videos have been vlog based to some extent, and privacy is definitely a thing that both Brian and I have discussed and are always thinking about. I would say you just have to know yourself and know what you want to share and what you don't want to share online. Like there are topics that Brian and I don't discuss, and that's fine with us. And just, you get to know what other person is comfortable with, what you are comfortable with. Oh my God, I lost my train of thought. I just died right there.
Edit that out. Start over.
Yeah, edit everything out. Oh, yes, perfect.
Oh, that is a good point,
that
actually.
was where my point was going. It's just so we record a lot in our videos, and we'll just leave the camera on sometimes. And when the final cut comes to the editing process, you cut out what you don't want to show. And there is the point where some things are very private and you want to keep that private. And especially with our channel, it's relationship based, and you need to keep that intimacy with the other person while still feeling somewhat intimate with your audience as well. Mm-hmm. But you get to know each other if you're in a relationship based vlog and you know what you do and don't want to share.
Thank you for the question. It's a great question. Anybody else, whenever you want, send it to me or raise your hand. I have another question that somebody sent us that I wanted to ask you is how people are always curious how you actually make a living off doing YouTube. And if somebody is interested in doing this as a living, what are some things you can go and tell them to be aware of, things you wish you had known? I know that's kind of a big question, but that was a huge one that we got back. So.
Absolutely. Yeah, when I worked for SciShow was very much crowdfunded via Patreon. So since it was an educational show too, you'd be surprised at how many people, want to see that kind of content being produced. And so they don't want that to die. So it's kind of like PBS in a way. It's just like you ask for help if you need it. How I make money now is through a company. So I make, like I said, it's a collective, and Snarled was started by Red Arrow Entertainment, and they were given an investment. So they essentially invested into me and pay me per video. So, it's partially just kind of proving yourself and trying to get to a point where you can start charging a little bit more so that you can make a living doing this type of work. I mean, I still supplement, but my YouTube videos for Snarled and HissyFit with other freelance work. Like I mentioned earlier, I am also an animator and motion graphics artist, so I'll do work like that on the side sometimes.
Yeah, I would say, like, if you're just starting off, like, no YouTube channel at all, just starting off, keep the YouTube thing kind of as like a side thing, because
Mm-hmm.
ad revenue is not going to be existent for you really. And with the YouTube ad apocalypse that's going on right now anyway, you can't really depend on ad revenue anymore. And so, like Megan said, Patreon is a huge thing right now. A lot of creators are really finding that's a great way to be funded. And just if you have like a larger project, Kickstarter's a great way to do that.
Mm-hmm.
If you're doing something like that, though, I would definitely recommend having decent media profiles first. So like have a media package, have a good media package, have a good plan of where you want your Kickstarter to go, have a lot of information for people to look at. And so it seems more real, because the more real something seems, the more likely people are going to be likely to back it. Other like smaller ways that people are funded, something like affiliate links, Amazon affiliate links are a great way. Not tons of people know about it really, but basically you can create links for products and drive traffic to Amazon. And if someone buys something, you get a small percentage of that. On a small scale, that's not like anything big, but if you do have an audience already and you throw out a link or something, you can make decent funding off of that. And sponsors, of course, getting companies to work with, incorporate into your vlogs or films, whatever you're creating, are a great way. But something like that as well, you need to have some sort of audience already built so that the companies see benefit in working with you. And so that's why I say, like, kind of keep it on the side when you're first starting off, and don't think that you're going to be 100% funded off of YouTube right away.
Yes. Oh, we have another question here. Go ahead.
Hi. My question is, I've always considered starting a YouTube channel, but I'm also very afraid of the people who tend to be very negative. And I was just wondering, how do you deal with that?
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, trolls are a real thing for sure. Luckily, I mean, we're blessed on Snarled and HissyFit to have really kind audience. But you know, I have. There was one time where I used red in my face paint and I blended it from the top down, and somebody accused that of being racist and red face. And so that is the one instance that really shook me to my core, because I was really sensitive to not doing that. So I tried to defend myself. And what I realized after that experience of trying to defend myself, she came back with with something just being like, this is condescending, and how could you not own up to this mistake that you've made? And I was trying to explain it from more of like a color theory perspective, like, no, the red was to symbolize power, And what I learned from that experience is to not engage. And it's not worth it. And as much as you're going to want to defend your side, sometimes if people are out to just troll and to, like, I've also had people just, say awful things. But if you choose to engage, they're always going to win, because in their head, like, not necessarily, but if they're out to hurt you, then they're not going to have an open mind or understand, where you're coming from or what your intent was. They're just going to be like, no, this impacted me in this way, and you should feel bad about it. So if you don't engage, then you are taking a stance against it in a way, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, I would definitely say you need to have a thick skin, first of all.
mm-hmm.
Be confident in what you're producing. And yeah, read comments, take criticism, and use it to better yourself. You use it as a learning experience for points that actually make sense. But then for all just like random negativity, you just have to ignore it, honestly. You just have to be confident, I would say, is the biggest thing. And just know that what you're producing is good content, and who cares what people say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Thanks for the question. And for everybody else, feel free again to raise your hand or type a question. I did just get another question. They were wondering which video have you made for YouTube that you're the most proud of, or you had the most fun making, and why?
Oh, okay. Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll go first. I'm like, let me think.
You'll just go first every time.
I'll just go. Okay. Oh, I see. I see how it is. No.
I shall make comments about that.
Yeah. My first series was Make Up Your Mood on HissyFit, and so all of those episodes I am really proud of, just because they are so absurd and so me, and it's the first time that I've been able to really express myself to a bigger audience. And so my favorite one of those is probably this episode I made called Broken, and I made it look like my eye had dropped off onto my cheek.
Uh-huh.
And so it's satire on it a little bit, but I just liked how it enveloped the feeling in the way I wanted to, and that one almost had 1 million views, which was exciting for little old me. So
yeah, I would say, the video that I'm most proud of is my coming out video, where I secretly recorded my coming out experience to my mom. And that was it was very interesting deciding to post that online. I hadn't really seen any videos at the time of coming out experiences. I think there was one, but other than that, when I searched on YouTube, how to come out, or coming out experience live, or seeing the actual event happen, it wasn't there. And I saw it as a good opportunity to help people out and kind of show people what a coming out experience could be. So I would say that's the video that I was the most proud of. There was a little video that I had a little fun with. It was called The Dan Effect, and it was my take on a reality show type thing that I dabbled in. I kind of wanted to start, but it was just, I don't know, it was a fun editing experience more than anything. You can search it. It's weird.
That sounds fun.
We'll share it. Oh, we have another question here. And before we ask that, we got typed a question. I'll move you over, panelists. Somebody was asking how you stay connected to your fans. What do you do to kind of keep people who are supporting your career going?
It's so cool because we have so much access to social media now, so you can have those really direct connections to your fans. I'm still very up and coming, you'd say, so I don't have that much interaction with everybody. I will respond to comments on my YouTube channel and Snarled's and HissyFit's YouTube channel as well. And then I post mostly on Instagram. That's my main social media one. And then I keep my Facebook and Snapchats kind of private. But on Instagram, I don't necessarily, I don't open up my DMs, because I think sometimes that can become a little bit too overwhelming at a certain point. But I love to just talk in the comments to people, and sometimes people suggest ideas for me to do my makeup in, or suggest ideas to do a Death Happens episode. And so if you kind of call out people, that helps make them feel special too, I think. But
Dan?
Yeah, I think a great way that I found to connect with the audience is doing live shows. We do live shows. So we typically did them on YouTube for 4 years now. Every Thursday, once a week, we do them. And it's just a nice casual chat, just hang out with your viewers. You can play games or whatever, or just talk about random stuff. And I think it's a more intimate way than just a YouTube channel. I've also loved Instagram stories lately.
Mm-hmm.
Have been really cool. But Megan made me think of something. You do want to have this intimacy with your audience, but also you do need space. So you can't at the beginning, you'll want to read every single comment. You'll want to respond to every single thing, and you'll become obsessed with it. It's basically what happens. But you'll learn that you can't do that for your own mental health and just to stay sane. You can't keep up with everything, and you can't respond to everything, and you just have to learn to deal with that as well.
Exactly.
All right, we have Christian here, and then we have a question that just got sent to us too. So Christian, you first, and then I'll ask you guys the other question.
All right, cool. So my second one's for Dan, and you maybe touched on this a couple questions ago a little bit, but I'd like you to go in a little bit more on what motivated you to use your channel to help people who are struggling with their own sexual identity the way that you do.
Thanks, Christian.
So after I posted the coming out video, there were a lot of different comments, the positive and the negative. But overwhelmingly, the majority were comments of people saying, "Oh my God, I was crying throughout this. It helped me so much. You gave me hope that I actually matter in this world." And I didn't realize how powerful just that one video could be and how many people it helped. Like I received tons of emails and letters in the mail saying how I like helped people realize that they shouldn't commit suicide. And that was the point where it really, really, really started to affect me and show me that what I'm doing actually matters, and I can actually be a real help in the YouTube community and like I have a responsibility to spread awareness of issues like this. And yeah, did I answer everything? I'm not sure.
Yeah, no, that's good.
Thanks for the question. Here's the type question for both of you, and I think we kind of discussed this, but there's a little twist on it. Is it difficult to separate your personal life and your work life, especially when you're working from home?
Yes. I work from home, and especially in the summer, I'm currently really struggling with the balance of just kind of like when to hang out with people and when to work, because a common thing that you'll hear, or that I hear in the summer, is like, "Oh, well, I hope you get out and enjoy the summer at some point," or like, "I hope that you like don't miss it." And what at first it made me feel a little just bad, like I was like wasting my time or something. But then it occurred to me, this is what I love to do. And so like that's what everybody's trying to do in life. And I do go outside and I do have friends and I do hang out with people, but I do have to like schedule in advance because I am busy. And so I've switched my like response to those comments to be like, you know, like, yeah, like it's summer, but I love what I do. And so I feel really lucky to be able to spend my time doing that. And so usually you get a good response from that. It doesn't make you feel as bad.
Nice.
So from the vlogger perspective, wanting to share lots of stuff about your life, if not most things, I found the biggest issue with separating work from your own personal life is that as a vlogger, you don't really get vacations. Like you could go on vacation somewhere, but honestly, that would probably make better content than your vlog at home because it's a different setting for the viewers. So that I would say that's the biggest thing. You don't realize that if you want to become this YouTube vlogger or whatever, is that you don't really get vacations unless you specifically like set times where you're not going to be on social media, where you're not going to do anything, where you need to spend time with your loved ones. And that's definitely something that I've learned how to separate better over the years. But also just working at home in a space, it is difficult. Sometimes I actually go to Starbucks with my laptop, just to have a new place that isn't this computer. Luckily, I have a Mac and a laptop, so I'm able to pretty much go somewhere else and do that. But yeah, my personality, I do need a change of scenery to be completely productive, I would say.
Yeah, so here we have two questions in the pipe here. The first one is, how do you enjoy what you do by not, being alone so much? Or sometimes do you wish that you had some place where you're with an office and other people? Like, how do you guys keep going? Are you
Right.
self-directed, or do you miss that kind of like office?
Yeah. No, I definitely, I really thrive around people. And so I'm lucky that Snarled and HissyFit are a collective. However, they're in LA and I'm in Montana. So it does kind of make it difficult, but I chat a lot through the day with some of my co-creators, and we bounce ideas off each other. So it kind of helps me go back to the SciShow like world where we did have an office and we all had computers in the same room and windows and like plants, but and then like office activities. So I miss that every once in a while, but I keep myself motivated, like I said, by staying in contact with people that are doing similar things, and allowing myself to take breaks and or like change my scenery and take a laptop to a cafe too. That helps a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I think it goes back to the whole separating your work and your personal time. You need to learn that, like, if you want to be in this industry, like, yeah, you're gonna be on your computer a lot by yourself, and so you just have to make time to spend time with other people and go get coffee with a friend or something. But yeah, I think Megan said a lot of what I wanted to say.
So this is we're steering a different way for a second. Somebody wants to know, what do you guys do outside of the internet? So what are your inspirations and hobbies in terms of like inspiring you in your own personal lives? Want to know?
Yeah.
Nothing.
Nothing.
This is it. It's just YouTube.
Just me.
Yeah.
On the computer.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I've been pretty bad at it recently, but I do like to run. But a lot of what I enjoy is on the internet. So yeah, I get a lot of, like, my passion is social media and YouTube and everything. So yeah, having my passion also be my work, I don't have many outside hobbies. And so that's where it's become really important for me to separate that time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I kind of am similar in the fact that I just completely immerse myself into like projects when I'm really into it. And so that's has pros and cons to it, of course, but that's just part of my personality, is that I'm like, I'm doing this thing, I'm gonna go all in, give it everything I have. But over the years, I've been doing this since college, so it's just kind of like I have learned to be like, no, it's okay when someone in the summer invites you to go to the river, just go to the river, make some time for it. Swim a little bit. I go to the gym. I like watching movies. I know that's still screen time, but I watch a lot of movies and sometimes play games with friends, just different. And I also play music. That's another huge thing I always forget about. But sometimes I like to just stimulate my brain in a creative way that's not making videos too. So I'll doodle, I'll play music, whatever, just so that I'm kind of able to stay constantly creative, but by inspiring myself in different ways, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Somebody wants to know, what do you think the future of YouTube is? Because I would say
we can't tell you.
Yeah. There's a lot of stuff on YouTube and a lot of different things. Are you guys privy to kind of where it's going? Do you know anything that people are talking about?
I mean, I just got yeah.
I mean, it's changed so much over the years that I've been on it. You can't predict anything. It's crazy.
but what's cool about YouTube is, you know, it gives everybody a chance to have a voice and to have a channel, and so more people than ever are succeeding in YouTube. But I think somebody said recently too, just that it's simultaneously the hardest time to like achieve success as a YouTuber as well, because it is so saturated. So wow, where was I? But
The future.
The future. So I was just at VidCon, which I think kind of gives you a full immersion into the internet world, but in person. And it's fascinating to listen to other creators talk about what the future of their channels are looking at too. But with YouTube Red and like some of these other projects that YouTube is trying to do, you know, I think they're trying to become more of a network, like a television network or something, and give people more paid opportunities the bigger you get, you know. But I don't know how that's doing, actually, to be honest. I don't know. I hope that it always stays accessible and that people can always climb to the top in the traditional way that YouTube was meant to be.
Well, I mean, go ahead, Dan.
Yeah, I feel similar in that, like, I feel like some of the community aspect of what YouTube was even 4 years ago is starting to disappear, and YouTube's almost losing that like special thing that it used to have. It seems like if you want views on YouTube now, you have to be very well produced. You need to have like HD video, very well edited. And anything less than that it's gonna struggle. And so great talent like you used to have on YouTube, it makes it difficult to rise up to the top. So who knows where it's gonna go? But yeah, I do think YouTube, it seems like they're leaning towards the more TV network route, which is interesting.
Yeah, I mean, YouTube has been known to have two things. You know, now it does have polished work where people who are trained filmmakers are trying to get a voice out there, but then it has this vlog aspect that it's YouTube, it's anybody can do it. So we'll see how it morphs, where it goes. Somebody just asked real quick, is there a YouTube channel that you go to for inspiration quite often besides your own? Or do you just get lost like everybody else does?
Oh yeah. So yeah, I get lost all the time. I like the really like absurd stuff. I don't know. I love Chris Fleming. I don't know if anybody here is familiar with him. But he did like the Gale series. So I don't know if you've seen that. He just does sketch comedy type stuff that are just like, they take it too far, kind of in that like Eric Andre, Tim and Eric kind of way, you know, it just really like bizarre stuff. So I like that kind of humor. I love watching, bad lip readings or the honest trailers. Like I love anything that kind of revolves around movies, because that's just one of my hobbies that I'm like just interested in, is just film reviews and stuff. And then since I've gotten more into the makeup and face painting stuff, I watch Jordan Hahn's Made You Look, Candy Johnson, you know, some of the like actual good makeup people, since I'm such an amateur with this, but since I have a background in art, I'm able to fake it a little bit. Those are just a few. There's a lot of them.
Yeah. Besides the ones you just get lost in. Dan, what do you?
I'm not sure about inspiration, but I mean, I'll mention some of my favorites. I love iJustine. She's just always a bundle of energy, and I love watching all her videos. I've been watching her forever, it seems. And more recently, I've been leaning more towards like gaming content. I'm like a gamer at heart. I love PC games, Nintendo games, whatever.
I've been getting more into that too. It's so fun.
And so I love watching people play games, and I don't know. Just Natalie Tran is also a YouTuber I love. She had a channel called Community Channel. She doesn't post much anymore, but her videos are hilarious, and go watch them if you haven't.
So I'm just going to let all the attendees know we have time for one more question besides the question that just popped up. So if you have a question, send it or raise your hand. See how fast it goes, everybody?
It's so fast.
Oh my God.
I know.
Too fast.
It goes very, very fast. So yeah, if you want to ask one more question of these two before we have to go, jump in there, and maybe two more questions if we want.
We'll be quick.
You'd be quick. Where did that question go? They were just wondering how, well, we kind of have discussed this, but how you get out of the clutter of YouTube. So how do you guys promote and self-promote yourselves?
How do we get out of the clutter of YouTube and promote it?
How do you reach people to promote for yourselves? What do you do personally?
I mean, yeah, I'm still figuring it out. I use Instagram and Twitter, but I'm not a very good Twitter user. So I don't know. I mostly Instagram and just kind of Facebook. I don't know. What do you do, Dan?
I would say YouTube is constantly changing their algorithm and whatever. But if you're just starting off, I would say one of the biggest things I can recommend is to have good metadata. And what that is just like your wording in your description, the words in your title, the words that you tag. Make sure they're all aligned. And if there are specific words that people are going to search for, that those are in all three different areas. Because tons, if not the majority of views on YouTube now come from search results. And so if you can use the metadata to make yourself a little bit higher up, I think that's your best bet.
There's a fine line between like being too clickbaity and then like just needing to like have clickability, for sure.
Right, yeah.
But a team does that for my videos, so I'm lucky in that way.
Has anybody ever recognized either one of you on the streets, and what was that like? So outside of your YouTube channel, have you ever run into somebody?
That happened one time. Go ahead, Dan.
Okay. I've run into people in Target before. Target is one of my favorite stores, and I love it. Not sponsored.
You're not sponsored, or you are?
Not sponsored.
Oh, because I was we need to hit up Starbucks and Target.
Oh my God, I know, but no, neither of those. So, I met people in Target randomly in my hometown, which was kind of bizarre because I'm from a small hometown and I'm not like giant on YouTube. So it was kind of surprising that they were like, I watch your videos, and I'm like, what? So it's definitely a bizarre experience, but it's very cool to see that like there are actually faces to the usernames.
Yeah,
definitely. Yeah, that happened to me once in my hometown as well. Someone saw because they used my video as an ad pre-roll, and she was like, that's the first time I ever watched an ad. And but she just kind of tapped me on the shoulder and was like, are you Megan? And so that was the first like bizarre one, and then of course at VidCon, where everybody is just like immersed into that culture, I had a few people recognize me from that. But it's always really, really cool. I like wish it would happen. I wish people, because sometimes people do know who you are, but they don't like come up and talk to you.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that'd be
they'll tweet after.
I saw you. Yeah.
Brian has actually had someone take a picture of him getting on the subway and then tweeted it at him.
Don't like that. Don't like that at all.
Well,
it was cute.
One last question. The person would like to know, what can we look forward to next that you're working on?
Well, I produce weekly shows. So I'm doing, so just more Make Up Your Moods, more Death Happens. I'm coming out with a gamer mood next. So it's going to be like 8-bit. I'm going to make my face kind of like into an 8-bit type of style. And Snarled is launching a gaming channel as well. So I'm like also, doing brainstorms with them a little bit on that. Might be playing some games. Who knows? Just all sorts of stuff every week. It's very, very fun.
Awesome.
So anyone who's followed me knows that we haven't been posting many videos lately. I had to take a little break for like my own mental health. I deal with depression and anxiety. So over the past year, I've kind of had to deal with that. I had to put personal issues first. But we do plan to create more vlogs together, and more recently we've been streaming on Twitch, just some IRL streams, and so we're definitely going to be posting videos soon.
Cool. And just for those, because we have a mixed audience here, how can people find you and who would like to follow you guys? Just
Sure.
Megan.
So I am at Megan 10 yes, like 10 yes, on Instagram and Twitter. But my shows are on youtube.com/snarled, youtube.com/HissyFit. So those two channels, they're sister channels. So if you go to one, you can easily find the other. And then I just have a personal channel as well that you can find via those sites, but it's /Toenyes. So good luck spelling that. I'm sorry, it wasn't a smart naming strategy.
So I'm at Mallow610, MALLOW610, pretty much on everything. Put that at the end of a URL and I'm probably there. Or search Dan Bryan or Dan and Brian. You can find our vlogs as well.
Great. You guys, thank you so much. This went wonderful. It went really fast. And
So
thank
fast.
you for being and spending time with us.
Yeah, thanks for inviting me.
Yeah, thank you.
To all of our people who attended, thanks for your questions. They were fantastic. We really appreciate it. We have coming up next week, the director of Outfest is going to be talking with us. And then 2 weeks from now, the producer and LA Vice office is going to answer some of our questions. So you're all welcome to join for free, and we would love your questions. Thanks, guys. We'll keep in touch.
Bye, everybody.
Bye. Thank you so much. Bye.